All right, guys, we're live today, and we're going to be talking about Ethereum, which I've had the chance to watch several videos on, and it's a concept I'm still trying to wrap my head around with the NFTs and the non-fungible tokens and being able to tokenize things. And then Ethereum has its own currency called Ether. So I know Ethereum and Ether are kind of two separate things because Ether is the native currency to Ethereum. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this. But we should have a pretty cool presentation for you guys. And I do think Ethereum and cryptocurrencies and things like that are going to be the wave of the future. That's where we're heading to in the age of Aquarius. We know that these old systems, these old structures of, these fiat currencies, the old banking system, the old governmental systems, we know that's all going through big structural changes right now. And let me give you guys the quick little disclaimer here. This is not meant to replace any advice from a financial planner. I'm using the sidereal zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac, in my predictions. If you guys are familiar with Western astrology, I'm using fair use. Predictions are my interpretation of the data, and videos for entertainment purposes only. It's kind of like we have to cover that stuff nowadays with how everything is. And if you guys are new either to the live stream or you guys are watching this video later because maybe you clicked on it and you're wondering what does an astrologer see with Ethereum in 2021, I want to explain to you what astrology is really fast, especially from the Vedic, ancient Vedic perspective. And so ancient science of astrology, known as the science of light, it's the astrological blueprint of our karma. The planets and stars are the keepers of the Akashic records. They are the radio transmitters of your karma. Everything has karma. So everything has karma. I mean, silver has karma. Bitcoin has karma. Ethereum has karma. The United States has karma. And then as individuals, we all have karma. So that's what I'm doing right now is we're going to take a look at the birth chart of Ethereum and we're going to make predictions using the Ethereum chart. And before we move on, guys, please like and subscribe. If you like this kind of content, I'm going to be doing a lot more cryptocurrency videos in the future. The goal is that I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I really want to spread this ancient knowledge to the rest of the world and so teach people how this has modern applications even in our world. If you guys want to know about your own karma and your own astrological blueprint of your own karma, you can check down below this video and request a reading with me, a personal reading. That's done through email right now. I'm still working on setting up a web page. So like and subscribe. The next thing I wanted to go to, and I'm going to cut back, this whole concept of the simulated reality and the simulated universe that we live in has really been stewing in my mind a lot, and how everything is going virtual. Everything's pretty much going virtual nowadays. And so what I wrote the Matrix ? Elon Musk said 1 in 1 billion chance we are living in base reality, living in a simulated environment. NFTs are simply an expression of this. Tokenizing is inevitable. Enter Ethereum. I really became acquainted with this idea of even digital items. My brother used to play World of Warcraft back in 2004, and I remember people would pay all sorts of money for either the digital gold that was being mined or these characters that they would develop, and other people would buy the characters. And so I see this market of these non-fungible tokens being a very, I think we're just starting to begin to explore the applications of creating NFTs and having them on the Ethereum network. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it now, but I do see it as the way of the future. For Ethereum itself, we are going to calculate the birth chart, Ethereum birth chart, July 30th, 2015, 00 UTC, Kolomna, Russia, and it's the same time zone as Moscow. That's where we have it, Ethereum being born, as we like to say in astrology. So let me go ahead and we're going to go look at the chart of Ethereum. And for you guys that are new to this, this is what a chart looks like in Vedic astrology. It has this square pattern of 12 squares. It's not that circular chart that you see with Western tropical astrology a lot. But right away, you know, Ethereum's birth chart, right there, we see the first thing is we notice that it's a Gemini ascendant right here. This is the first house. So if you look, first house, second house, third house, and so on. You just keep counting counterclockwise, and you get the rest of the houses there. But right away, you notice that Mars is in the first house of Ethereum's chart. And right away, I mean, to me, it seemed, when I looked at it, it almost looked like a more positive chart to me than Bitcoin's birth chart, to be honest. Because when I see Mars in the first house, right away, it makes me think innovation, pioneering, like people that are bringing something new and innovative, and something that's going to establish some sort of industry-wide dominance since Mars is in the first house. Let's switch back to this real fast. Mars in first house gives Ethereum a sense of pioneering, dominating, innovation. And then Mars is the 11th lord, and it's in first house makes Ethereum inherently valuable. So if we take a look at the chart again, which I'll put back up on screen, when in Vedic astrology we talk about lordship. So if you take a look at the 11th house right here, and the 11th lord is in the first house. And if you guys are familiar, 11th lord, the 11th house always has to do with earnings, salaries. It's a money house. So your second house and your 11th houses are going to be the money houses. And with Ethereum, we have the 11th lord in the first house. And then we have the second house. We got the sun and we got Mercury both in the second house. So we got a lot of money houses being activated in the Ethereum chart. Let me take a look at something else really fast, guys. So the next thing we look at is you guys can see that in Ethereum's chart, we have Mercury here, and we have the sun right there. The sun, you know, the sun is a third lord, so it's a cruel house, but it's going to give results, especially with media publications, messaging, and guess what? Ethereum's, you know, a network, so it's going to make profits based on that. Mercury in the second house is going to be helpful as well. It rules the first and the fourth house right there. So this is, in my mind, this is going to be your, you know, a real money house for Ethereum right here. One other thing you'll notice about Ethereum's chart is you notice that Saturn is in the 6th house. And Saturn in the 6th house, even though Saturn's known as a negative planet in astrology, when it's in the 6th house, it actually can be somewhat of a good thing, because there's an old saying, a bad planet in a bad house produces good results. So if you take a look, Ethereum we got Saturn in the 6th house. So what is Saturn doing in the 6th house? It's blocking the enemies. It's blocking debt. And of course, you know, what would Ethereum's enemies be? Well, the Ethereum's enemies would probably be the other competing cryptocurrencies. So, I mean, what it's saying is Ethereum's going to be able to hold its own against competing currencies. You know, Ether and the Ethereum network are going to be able to hold its own because it's such a new and innovative concept. And let us see one more thing I was going to bring up about the chart before we move on to the Mahadashas and the transits. Nope, that's it for now. So I feel like it has a better chart than Bitcoin overall, but I do see that there may be some issues this year, and we're going to talk about that. What I see with Ethereum here. The Mahadashas and transits. Let's take a look at that. Now, you guys, we're gonna actually go through these one by one, but I'm giving you a list in case you want to either write those down or you just want to know, because there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of different dates. What I'm showing on is the different Mahadashas, which is a stage or condition of life where a planet rules a certain period of your life. So Venus ruled Ethereum essentially since its birth date all the way till it entered Sun Mahadasha on February 27, 2021. And then we're going to talk about 3 important transits, Jupiter, Rahu, and Saturn. Okay. The reason why I choose Jupiter, Rahu, and Saturn is because those are the slowest moving planets. So like Mercury and Venus and the planets that are close to the Earth, they move very fast, and they move like the moon, move through the houses very fast, and you tend to get a minimal effect with inner moving planets just because they don't have enough time to really cause much change. So I tend to focus more on the outer planets for predictions. The thing I wanted to look at was, you know, even though the birth of Ethereum happened back in 2015, we can look at one of the most recent bull runs, which was 2018. There was a big bull run. Apparently, Bitcoin had a bull run around that time, and then also Ethereum had a Ethereum had a bull run, sorry. And as you guys can see, there's a little graph here of the 2018 bull run of Ethereum, and the price hit 1,358.78 on January 13, 2018. The bull run happened during Mercury Bhukti. Mercury is first and fourth lord. It also rules networks, messaging, etc. What's interesting is, and we'll show you guys on the, let's see, chart. We're going to go to another chart real quick, guys. Is if you look at this Venus-Mercury period that Ethereum entered on February 27, 2017, and then, you know, at the end of that year, when it was still in Mercury, it hits that bull run. But then you notice the price drops as soon as it enters that Venus K2 period. The price drops. So we know that Mercury is a good planet for Ethereum. Why I like to look at those things, even though people are thinking it's the most important thing for us to know what's going to happen with Ethereum right now in 2021 during this current bull run. Why I like to look at this is because it correlates. It's a way of correlating the chart. Okay, so Ethereum entered that Mercury, that time of the first and fourth lord, and it produced a good result. There was this bull run, so we know that the chart is lining up with known events, because dashas should always line up with some sort of event. And now let's take a look at the 2021 bull run of Ethereum. And you guys can see it's just going like omega right now. This bull run right now is just crazy with the asset bubble that I've been talking about in previous videos with Rahu's current transit through Taurus, where everybody's having all this cash and they're trying to find places to put this cash. And we see all the cryptocurrencies just going as being part of this bull run. But what I found very interesting with Ethereum is there is an explanation astrologically as to why kind of suddenly, if you look at the chart, if you look at the chart, it's pretty sudden, it's pretty dramatic. You have 2019 there, and then 2020, and then 2021, and it's just doing like a straight up trajectory. So it's pretty crazy. But what we're going to look at is that the sun, or it entered Sun Mahadasha February 27, 2021. Sun Mahadasha is only 6 years long. It's the shortest Mahadasha. And guys, the sun is all about the self. So if anyone goes into a Sun Dasha or Sun Bhukti or Sun Mahadasha, it's all about me, me, me. It's all about look at me, I'm in the middle of the spotlight. And that's what Ethereum is going through right now. It's in the spotlight. The sun is this big spotlight on it, and it's showing the world that it's the new and upcoming thing. And it just got into this Mahadasha February 27th of 2021. It is the shortest Mahadasha of all the Mahadashas. Sun is only 6 years long. So the Bhuktis tend to be very short in length. The shorter a Bhukti is, usually the less effect it has because it just doesn't have enough of that karmic pull. But the Bhuktis are still obviously important. Transition back to this. Bhuktis run so fast, very little time to shift. But I'll tell you, Sun is known as a hot and fast Mahadasha. Because it's only 6 years, it tends to be very intense. Why is this Sun Mahadasha? You notice that as soon as it enters the Sun, and let's go back to the Dashas, guys. As soon as it enters Sun Mahadasha, right there, February 27, 2021, you notice that graph, it's just going straight up now. So we know the sun is in the second house of earned income, and we know that this is just putting the spotlight on Ethereum, and it's just going straight up right now. So Sun overall seems to be, at least for now, it seems to be a very positive development for Ethereum. And so we can generally think, okay, for the next 6 years, it's probably going to have the spotlight on it, and it's probably going to have a pretty good overall outcome. But during the 6 years, it doesn't mean that there's going to be ups and downs. And on the downs, obviously, you're going to want to buy it when it's low. Let's take a look at the chart real fast and look at what Sun Mahadasha is all about for Ethereum. So you guys, obviously there is a focus on the second house again. And second house is, saved income, earnings, it's the keep. And also there's going to be a emphasis on the third house here because the sun is Lord over Leo. And also, you guys, whenever you're running a planet's dasha, it also activates the planets within the house. And it's got two benefic planets in that house, Jupiter and Venus. So Jupiter's being activated. Jupiter's the planet of expansion. It's also the planet of children. So maybe Ethereum's going to have more projects come and flow from all this. And then we have Venus, which is the natural karaka of money, of finance, of actually luxury and opulent wealth, guys. So we have the karaka planets of two benefic planets being activated, and I think that's why we're seeing Ethereum just skyrocket at the moment. Now, I do see issues right now with Rahu's current transit going through the 12th house. I don't think that this is going to be like a permanent rocket ship going upward. There's going to be some volatility, although it might be protected from big upswings and downswings because Saturn's currently transiting the 8th house of Capricorn, and we're going to talk about that, guys. See if there was anything I missed, because we're talking about Sun Mahadasha, so we really have to understand the sun's placement within the chart. Sun, third house, because it rules the third house, it represents artists and represents making money through small business. And one of the things I learned about NFTs was that artists, original pieces of art, either digital art or even just art that you paint on a canvas, is essentially non-fungible. It's an original artwork. So a lot of what people have been trading and buying and so forth on Ethereum have been these non-fungible token pieces of digital art. So it's interesting that one of the houses that rules artists is being activated here. Thus far, Sun Mahadasha has been good. Also, Sun activates Jupiter and Venus, and we just talked about that, guys. We're going to go to the next thing. We're going to go through Rahu's transit in Taurus, guys. And this is really, the Rahu transit in Taurus is really what is causing this, this asset bubble expansion. In Ethereum's chart, the 12th house, it's transiting the 12th house, and the 12th house, as you guys remember, 12th house has to do with losses or endings. It's the least volatile of the Dashtana houses, which are 6, 8, and 12. 12th house would be like the least harmful in my opinion. But let's take a look at this. So Rahu entered Taurus, the 12th house in Ethereum's chart, September 22nd, 2020. And it goes all the way till April 12th, 2022. Transit 12th house is usually associated with losses. However, we have not seen it since it entered Taurus. So that's the one thing I'm also kind of looking at is, it's been, Rahu's been in Taurus all the way since September of 2020, and we haven't seen a big loss, and haven't seen a drop. If anything, we've seen just Ethereum go straight up. So what I tend to think is that the 12th house in this case, it could be representing the DeFi, the decentralized finance concept with Ethereum. 12th house can also add a screen of invisibility. However, we must be aware of potential asset bubble popping. Kritika, September 2021. And I will touch on this a little more later, is that I do see some sort of issues happening. I think if there's going to be an asset bubble that's popped, I think it's going to be around the last quarter of 2021 and the first quarter of 2022, because of Rahu's going to be transiting through this very dangerous nakshatra called Kritika, and this could bust the asset bubble. And Rahu's still transiting the 12th house, even though it hasn't done anything yet since it's entered September 22nd, 2020. It really makes me think, a lot of times when Rahu's transiting a house, and it takes about 18 months to transit a house, a lot of times, you don't see the full effect until about the end of the transit. So we're going to be in the danger zone at the end of that Rahu transiting Taurus as far as the price of Ethereum on the markets, the ETC, or ETH, sorry. And so I would tend to think last quarter of this year you would just want to be careful. But overall, I keep seeing it as a good thing to hold on to. And this next slide, guys, that I was going to show you. Let me click on something else very quick here. Is the dangerous time or opportunity. September 2021 through April 12th, 2022. Rahu's transit through Kritika within Ethereum's 12th house of losses and endings. However, resurgent and new life given when Rahu enters Aries. Ethereum 11th house. Rahu transit through Aries will be very profitable for Ethereum. And so we might see it the price continue to be on an upward trajectory right now. And then the last quarter of 2021, we might see some sort of drop or dip in the price. And that's why I said opportunity, even though it's a dangerous time. Well, it's only a dangerous time for people that are looking to sell right away. For many people, it's going to be looked at as an opportunity if we see the price of Ethereum drop, and then we can go in and obviously buy low. And hopefully we get onto that next wave, because I do see things being very positive for 2022 overall, especially the last half of 2022. I see there being a resurgence, because we're going to need things like Ethereum in the new economy that's being set up as we get past this whole pandemic and everything else. We're going to need new ideas, new innovative ideas like Ethereum. The Saturn transit we want to cover a little bit, guys. So should we wait to buy? Ooh, I don't know about that. I think it's gonna get. I think it's gonna go higher. I mean, obviously it's gonna be up to you if you want to buy. I think it's still gonna go higher. That's my opinion. I think it's still gonna go higher from its point right now. I think it would be okay to buy. But yeah, I do think there might be a dip at the end of the quarter, and that's just like, that's my prediction. Let's talk about the Saturn transit. And thanks for your questions, Colleen. I appreciate that. Saturn transit January 23rd, 2020, and you guys remember that this whole Saturn transit through Capricorn, that was when kind of this whole pandemic got started, was around that time. And so we know that the pandemic, because of the Saturn transit, and this is not even related to Ethereum, but because of this Saturn transit, that's why I'm anticipating that a lot of this pandemic won't be over. Okay. Oh, by the way, thank you, EP. The Saturn transit, I'm sorry, I was reading something in the chat. The Saturn transit, I believe that April of 2022 is when we're going to see more of the end of this pandemic. So I tend to think that towards the end, we're going to start seeing a lot of these economic effects finally catch up to everything. That's why I think last quarter of 2021, first quarter of 2022, we're going to start seeing issues with the asset bubble. If we look at Ethereum chart, Saturn transit through 8th house of Capricorn can be good for Ethereum. Malefic planet in malefic house tends to give good results. Saturn is protecting Ethereum from sudden upsets that is typical of the 8th house. So I see that there could be a drop, there could be losses at the end of 2021 with these Rahu transiting the 12th house. But then I also see the Saturn transiting the 8th house as kind of protecting it from really big, devastating losses. So if there's a drop, I don't think it's going to be a huge, rock bottom type drop that happens. I think it's going to be more of like a speed bump. So that's why I don't know if I see, like, I would say, like, if you're going to buy, I would even think now would be a great time, my opinion. I think now is a great time. I wouldn't wait because, what if it goes up really high and then the drop at the end of 2021 is just a very mild drop and you could have actually got it cheaper now. So that's yet to be seen. The other thing that's going to be affecting Ethereum, guys, is the Jupiter transit. And if you guys, Jupiter has just entered Aquarius on April 6, 2021, and it will be there for a full year till April 13th, 2022. It will transit 9th house of Aquarius. Great year for really establishing the purpose of Ethereum. Ethereum has great potential, but all of its potential, not all of its potential has been realized yet. Overall, grace with Ethereum this year. And so, just like EP said, he says, if you're new to crypto, just buy Ethereum and hold. Many tokens are built upon it. That's where I see that it's going to become more widely known of the use of Ethereum, of being able to tokenize all these things and put it out to, the non-fungible tokens and so forth. The market on this and how it's going to revolutionize finance, I just saw that there were so many applications to this. Like, I'm still trying to, and I'm still going to need to continue watching videos to wrap my brain around. But I see that more of it's going to be coming into it. It's 9th house, Jupiter translating the 9th house. Ethereum's coming into more of its purpose here right now. It has a dharma, so to speak. Even as, a non-tangible object, it has a dharma to give the world. And you guys, my final analysis here. Wow, this has been a very quick presentation, hasn't it? Let's see. My final analysis. Ethereum appears to be on upswing in price with commencement of Sun Mahadasha. Saturn has been protecting it from sudden upsets. Jupiter continues to give it more purpose. Rahu may be the challenge for Ethereum in the last quarter of 2021 because it is associated with the 12th house of losses. I do see great asset for 2022. So that's what I see with Ethereum, guys. When I actually saw, when I watched some of the videos and trying to understand Ethereum, and I saw the chart, as just me, just a human being, Thor Sandalwood, I was like, ooh, I want to buy that. because I saw how many applications it has, and I was almost more attracted to Ethereum than I was Bitcoin. Because I think that there's so much more innovation coming out, especially when Rahu enters Aries next year. I think there's just going to be so much more innovative concepts coming out that Bitcoin might even, Bitcoin might still be around, but I feel like there's just so much more innovation happening with some of these other cryptocurrencies. And the Ethereum thing, I'm a fan. So I'm going to say I'm a total fan of Ethereum, and I think that it has a big future ahead of it. Like I said, with this, it just started its Sun Mahadasha. Right in that first Sun Mahadasha, Sun Bhukti, it's skyrocketing up in price. And I see this next 6 years as being very positive for Ethereum. If there's any questions in the chat, I would be more than happy to answer them, guys. I'm not an expert, and I want to tell you guys, anyone who's like really into cryptocurrencies and watching this video, as an astrologer, I'm not an expert with cryptocurrencies, but I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to do what my talent is, looking at these charts and trying to apply this ancient wisdom to your wonderful field of these cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I think Ethereum right now, I really think it's undervalued, guys. I think it's big time undervalued. I think Ethereum is going to go, I think it might go bigger than Bitcoin. Once they realize, because there's even finance. I was looking into how they can use that. It's going to change the field of finance, and these smart contracts that they're going to be doing with Ethereum, and it was just mind-blowing to me. If there's any other questions, I'd be more than happy. I'm going to do some I'm going to look at other cryptocurrencies as well. But I mean, shoot, Ethereum was this is my second crypto chart I'm looking at, and Ethereum is just amazing. Cool. I'll wait a few more minutes. But this whole journey that I'm taking through the cryptocurrency world is amazing, and it's it's very popular. So it's actually gaining subscribers, and I love it. We'll see what's going on in the chat here. Well, you guys, that's my reading so far. I'm going to wait a little bit longer because sometimes I end up ending the video before, and then someone throws, how long Ethereum look in June? How does Ethereum look in June and August? I think Ethereum looks good in June and August. I think the summer it looks good for right now. Now, that being said, Rahu is still transiting the 12th house in Ethereum's chart. So if we see some big political, anything could happen. If we see some big political event kick off, or some sort of big major war or something happen within, I would be very, very careful. I think no matter what, I think Ethereum is going to be good long term no matter what. But I think it's going to do good through the summer. I think it's the last quarter of 2021 that we might see the drop. For TI, I see a buying opportunity. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think the buying opportunity is going to be even when it drops, it's going to be a buying opportunity. So that's why when I showed that one slide, it was either it's dangerous or it's going to be one of the best opportunities when it does that drop in the last quarter of 2021 or last half of 2021. It's just going to be an opportunity to buy. Other than that, guys, that was my video, and I'm so grateful that you guys were here. I wish you guys all many blessings. Namaste, and thanks for letting me be able to reach out to you guys. Thank you.